So thank you so much, Nick, especially Michael, so for the special arrange the Zoom the webinar tonight. So with us, maybe 50% the leader member from Vietnam, but 50% from other the friends, potential member leader from other country. So one more time, thank you so much. And quickly, Nick is one of my friends, long time friends, on the way living in the UK. So because of him, we know this opportunity, and so better to hand over to Nick for quickly introduce you and introduce Michael too. Thank you, Nick. Thank you. Oh, the mic, please mute. Unmute.
Nick, you're muted. Yep.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Oh, hi. Thank you, Simon. Thank you, everyone. My name is Nick Naya. I'm based in UK, but I'm a Malaysian. I was born in Malaysia. I came across this business in February, and I was very excited by it. And the most important thing is I met Michael there. Michael I've known for about 12 years previously, and I was excited to see him there. I worked very well with him in the previous business, so that was good. Now, it's not about me tonight. Tonight, I want to introduce Michael. Michael is actually one of 4 co-founders of iHub Global and a vice president of business development. He has 40 years of experience as an entrepreneur in direct sales, networking, network marketing, consulting, and a distributor. Successful network marketing organizations. He's had very successful ventures in network marketing organizations in 4 companies, with the largest having over 500,000 distributors in 17 countries. He has extensive experience at both corporate level and distributor level, but his focus is to maximize the success of both distributors and the company. And Michael, I hand you over to these good people.
Great, thanks a lot, Nick. I appreciate it. Okay, hold on one second, folks. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Oh, Simon, if you can let me share my screen.
So Nikolai, can you open the co-host for Mike?
1 minute.
Okay, you got it.
Okay, Mike.
Thank you, Michael.
Okay. All right. Well, thanks, Simon. Thanks, Nick. As Nick mentioned, my name is Michael Stern, and I am here in the United States in Arizona. And if you're just looking at iHub, I want to welcome you to an extraordinary opportunity that we're very excited about. And if you're looking at it to get a little bit more information on it, maybe you've seen it once or twice, I encourage you to do so. This is really something worth spending a little bit of time to get your mind around. So it was just a little bit less than a year ago when I got exposed to what we're going to be looking at through a colleague of mine who dropped a question to me where he suggested that I might be interested in owning a piece of the world's largest wireless network. And I didn't know what he was talking about, but I was curious enough to look into some more of the details of it. And I realized that it had to do with something called the Internet of Things, or IoT, something I only had a very vague understanding about. I'd heard the term. I knew that different kinds of devices would output data that could make processes or applications more convenient, cost-effective, and more financially effective and more efficient and that sort of thing. But I didn't have much of a sense about it, nor any idea of the scope worldwide. I started bouncing the idea off of a couple of friends and their friends just to sort of get an idea of how widespread the understanding was about the Internet of Things. And practically no one had ever heard about it until we talked to one guy. And he said, oh, yeah, I know all about the Internet of Things. And he explained that he owned a vending machine company and that every one of his vending machines was connected to the internet, and they all placed their own order to restock the supplies of the vending machine. And he explained how much time and money that process saved him, because the person that was going to restock the vending machine would just look at their iPad. They would know precisely what to take to each specific one. And he said it was a fantastic change in the way they were doing business. And I thought, okay, I get that. That's really practical and something I can relate to. It's not some kind of far off high tech solution that really is sort of less clear about the ramifications of it. And as we started looking into what was going on in this world of the Internet of Things, we realized that it was a massive business, over $800 billion a year with 8.4 billion devices connected to the internet, more devices than people, like those guys' vending machines as an example. And it's projected over the next 4 years to exceed $2.4 trillion with some 70 to 80 billion devices connected. And I was astonished at that. I was thinking, how is it possible for there to be such a vast market out there, and yet practically no one's familiar with this? So the company that is actually building this world's wireless network is a company based in the US in San Francisco. It's called Helium. And they got their start back in 2013 with some very forward-thinking entrepreneurs and engineers that took a deep dive studying what was going on in the world of the Internet of Things. And they came up with a couple of really important observations. Now, a simple one is that these devices that output data, whether we're talking about a device that monitors water, so if it detects water, it sends out an alert that there could be something to prevent a flood or a pipe breaking or something along those lines, to asset trackers, to just thousands and thousands of different types of things. Those devices somehow need to be connected to the internet so that data can get to the internet to be used. And they saw that there was no simple process for that to happen. They saw that most companies in the IoT space were having to put in their own creative energy and financial resources to basically create their own internal infrastructure to get that data to the internet. And they also saw that there were starting to be people going to cellular data companies and using cellular data plans to connect their devices to the internet that were both costly and clumsy to interface. So they felt that there was a real opportunity to do something that was really quite an audacious idea, but that was to build a worldwide peer-to-peer network that would provide the onboarding for these IoT data devices to be able to get their data to the internet, to be able to facilitate the expansion of the Internet of Things creativity and allow companies to focus on their creativity and new use cases and creating new wonderful ideas for our communities and not having to worry about how to get their data to the internet. Now it's peer-to-peer because they decided, rather than being like a big tech company and totally centralizing it, they wanted to decentralize it and allow people all over the world to participate in building this network, so that when somebody would add one of these gateways that they call a Helium hotspot to this network, it would add additional coverage, somewhere between 1 mile and 10 miles of additional coverage, with the idea that eventually they would cover the entire planet as far as all the major cities, or at least the mid-sized to larger cities and even smaller ones. And so that was really their vision. And to accomplish that, they wanted to incentivize us to participate by building their own cryptocurrency blockchain and cryptocurrency token. They named it Helium out of the company's name. It's got the three-letter code HNT. And so what they did was they built a combination of something called a LoRa radio gateway and the Helium blockchain. Now, LoRa just stands for long range. It's kind of like Wi-Fi, only it extends 200 times further than Wi-Fi. And so it uses a radio frequency, a biologically safe frequency, just a little bit higher than FM radio. And it can typically go that 1 mile to 8 to 10 mile range based on ground conditions. And so they created a hybrid device that would be a LoRa gateway that an encrypted Internet of Things device would be able to broadcast their encrypted data over this radio. It would be picked up by a nearby LoRa gateway, and that gateway would be connected to the internet and carry that data to the internet. And that's what we're participating in through a concept that they created uniquely for this project in their cryptocurrency space called proof of coverage. Now, in Bitcoin mining and Ethereum mining, cryptocurrency mining, typically, you've got these computers that do what's called proof of work, and they run these very complex algorithms with ever needing more sophisticated computers and climate control to gobble up lots of electricity. This is something completely different than that. And we're incentivized to put these things out there to receive this cryptocurrency. So let me go ahead and just share a quick video real quick. If I can find it, yeah. And you'll get a little bit more sense about this.
Do you know who owns your wireless network? Most likely, some ginormous big brand tech company with stacks and stacks of moolah. Well, what if you were able to own part of a similar network, which is growing constantly every day? It's called the Internet of Things, or IoT network. Heard of it? It powers billions of all those helpful things like our beautiful smart devices, life-saving medical sensors, security monitors, remote tracking devices, and the list goes on. So now you know you could help power all that and get paid for it in helium, which is a form of cryptocurrency. You know the digital currency that's super secure because it's kept in an online fortress of solitude called blockchain technology? But you might have known that. And all that happens from this one little device called a helium hotspot you can get from iHub Global. All you do is plug it in and start earning or mining helium automatically, which goes directly into your account. Simple as that. You basically earn money by doing practically nothing, so you can afford to spend more time with who's important to you. Earnings vary based on where you live, and iHub will show you simple ways to track how much you earn every day. You can also bring in your family and friends to earn more as an affiliate. And they'll earn too while we build the biggest network in the world together. And eventually, your earnings go even higher and higher with our shared hosting plan. Okay, then why iHub Global, you ask? Because it's free to start. Our mission is growing the network by more of us owning the network. We'll do it together with simple training on the basics. We'll also show you simple earning strategies to grow. By using our proprietary app called Helium Track, you can track your hotspots and run virtual simulations to place free hotspots in the best locations to further expand your network of affiliates and earnings. Who knew owning this network could be so easy? So if you're ready, let's grow together with iHub Global. Join and request a hotspot for your home or office today for free.
All right. So what is the business community thinking about this kind of audacious idea about building this worldwide internet? Well, first off, the units that they started creating, the helium hotspots, began shipping in December of 2019, so less than 2 years ago. And right after December, Fast Company wrote an article considering the helium hotspot to be one of the 10 most innovative consumer electronic companies in 2020. And Time, when they first started taking orders in the summer of 2019, considered it one of the best inventions of the year. And they likened it to a miniature cell tower. Not that this has anything to do with cell phones or cell towers, but the concept that they were alluding to is that before we had the cell phone coverage that we're so used to having, it required a massive infrastructure build of cell phone towers that provided an opportunity for a large number of people to develop tremendous residual income to this day for investing in those cell towers. And they saw that this was another opportunity for building a global infrastructure that would provide long-term residual income, but with an extraordinary low cost of entry for the people that wanted to participate. And then once the Helium company flipped their switch, turning on their network for the Internet of Things, Decrypt magazine in the cryptocurrency world wrote their article on it. And Fortune magazine started talking about helium when major companies like Nestle and Lime Scooter decided to already start migrating using the helium network to get their data from their IoT devices to the internet. So what's really in it for us? I mean, why are we going to go ahead and get these devices? Yeah, it's really great for our community. It's going to allow for all kinds of wonderful creative concepts to make things more convenient and cost effective for us. But the reality is the main incentive for us to participate in helping to build this network is the fact that we earn helium cryptocurrency tokens for doing it. Now, the way this proof of coverage works is that the more units that are covering an area, the more cryptocurrency it's able to actually create as a result of how this proof of coverage works. But really starting with a minimum of 3 units within close proximity of a kilometer or so from each other really gets the ball rolling, where you can be earning as many as 50 helium tokens a month or more. So what's the value of these tokens? Well, it's only been about a year now that the helium cryptocurrency has been exchangeable at Binance. It first began basically somewhere right around June, July of 2020. And when that happened, Pick a Crypto did a full-on analysis of the helium business model. And they were so impressed by it that they thought the value of the token could actually exceed over $5 before the end of 2020. Well, they didn't quite hit that mark. It did get a high of a little over $4 in late September. But more importantly, in their analysis, they felt that between now and the next 4 years, that the token could get into that $40 to $80 range. And there's been some other companies doing even more aggressive projections supporting that in even higher numbers. So just as Helium did their deep analysis of the world of the Internet of Things and saw the opportunity to build this worldwide peer-to-peer network for the IoT world to get their data to the Internet, we saw a massive opportunity to put something together within the Helium community to create an affiliate program to accelerate the training, education, and awareness of the opportunity for us to build this Helium hotspot around the world. And so what we did was we wanted to find a way to leverage the program by finding a way of sharing the distribution of the HNT that's created in one of these miners through an affiliate structure. And to do that, we reached out to the largest authorized supplier of helium hotspots in the world, a company called CalChip Connect. And we got a good relationship going with them. We explained our vision of what we wanted to do. They were very intrigued by the vision, and they put us in touch with some of their partners. And we were able to do something that wasn't created before, the ability to have a device that was programmed with our proprietary software so that we can do a distribution of the helium that's generated by one of these devices into our leverage program. And so we really like to consider these a passive income generator, one that's independent of the pandemic or the world economy. It's not an MLM company. We're an affiliate program with a very, very powerful commission structure within the affiliate program. There's no recruiting required, but as you start to understand that this project for the next 3 to 5 years of building this worldwide network is going to provide unprecedented decades of residual income from us, then like a lot of people in this call, you're going to want to share this information so that you can increase your percentage or your piece of that pie as this network is being built around the world. And so once you get one of these devices, you plug it into your own electricity. This thing not only operates at about 5 watts, like a 5-watt LED light bulb, so that it only uses up like $1 or less of electricity on a monthly basis. You hook it up to your internet connection, which uses very little of your bandwidth. It's a very secure and privacy-built device. And once you hook this thing up, it syncs to the Helium blockchain and then starts generating Helium tokens through this proof of coverage mining 24/7, 365 days a year. So I want to just lightly touch on our compensation structure. I'm not going to go into a deep dive of it, but I want to just give you enough so that as we take a look at some real units out there, you have a sense of what the ramifications would be. So the main aspect of this is utilizing the concept of leverage. For about 4 decades, I've been referring to this quote by a guy named J. Paul Getty, who when he was alive, he was the wealthiest private citizen in the world. And he said he would rather have 1% of the efforts of 100 people than 100% of his own efforts. Well, we kind of restructured that for iHub. My partner Chuck likes to say that he'd rather have 5, 10, 15% or more of hundreds or really an unlimited number of hotspots around the world than only to be able to receive 100% of his own hotspot. And you do the math, and I'm absolutely sure that you'll totally agree with that concept as well. It's way better to participate in building the network just rather to have than just to have, one or two of your own units. So let me kind of give you a little bit of perspective on this. If you decide to build an iHub organization, again, it's totally optional and there's zero cost to get involved in iHub. In fact, there's zero cost to even be able to get a unit to host in your location. It does need to be a good scoring location based on our proprietary software, but we do all kinds of things to train people on how to make that happen. But if you're building an affiliate network with iHub, you're actually going to be building 4 separate teams of people. Each one of those teams gets treated in their commission structure differently. The first team is created by the first 5 people. So the first, got some noise in the background there, guys. So we got the first team is created by the first 5 people. The next team is created by the next 10 people, then the next 10 people, and then anything after that is the 4th team. Okay, so anything after 25 people comprises the 4th team. Now, the way it works is as soon as you have an active leg, meaning that they've got a hotspot in that somewhere, either themselves or somewhere within their team, it creates the beginning of these teams and they form from left to right like this. So in this first team, you're able to get 20% of what those units that those first team has, the people that you directly enrolled. Now, if we use the assumption that each one of these units generates 100 helium tokens a month, then that means that 20% of 100 would be 20 helium tokens that you're earning from each of those. On the second team, you're getting that same 20%, but what we call a 5% code added on top of that. On the third team, that same 20% plus 2 of those 5% codes. And on the 4th team, the same 20% plus 3 of those 5% codes. I'll explain that lightly, but we'll go into that more on a deeper dive training on the comp plan. So on that first team, you got 5 people at 100. That's 500 helium tokens at 25%. That's 100 helium tokens a month off of those 5 individuals. On the second team, you got 10 individuals at 100 tokens a month. It's 250. The third team is 300. And even though there's an unlimited number of people you could have on your 4th team, for the purposes of this example, let's keep it consistent and assume you got 10 people also on your 4th team for a total of 35 people. And on the 4th team, you're getting 350. So let's just get clear on what this is an example of. You reached out, you got involved in iHub for no cost, you became an iHub affiliate. You reached out to 35 people that got a unit. It didn't cost you anything. It didn't cost them anything. What are you getting as a result of that? Well, in this example, you're earning 1,000 helium tokens on a monthly basis, 12,000 a year. What's the value of helium right now? It's about $12.30. So if we did that times 1,000, that would be $12,300 a month in US dollars. In the course of a year, that's $147,600 US dollars. And it will most certainly be significantly higher, probably $20 or more, way before the end of the year for that to happen. So we're in an astonishingly amazing position to help build this network out there to get unprecedented residual incomes as a result of building this. And it's even better than this because those 5% codes that I shared with you that begin at team 2, 3, and 4, okay, those codes go down to extend to a lot more than just the person that you directly enrolled. They go down to cover a significant portion of the people that came in as a result of those individuals that you directly enrolled to really provide astronomical numbers, unprecedented numbers. In the 40 years I've been involved in the direct sales and networking industry, I've never seen anything like this before. So let's kind of shift gears here just a little bit. I'm going to stop sharing my screen, but before I do that, let's just put this in perspective. Every single one of these helium hotspots, and including our iHub miners with our special programming in them, are all on the Helium blockchain. And as a result of that, they're all completely publicly accessible, totally transparent, no smoke and mirrors. So let me go ahead and share a different screen here. And let's take a look at what's going on in the Helium blockchain. So right now, this is querying the Helium blockchain, and it is looking at all of the units that are deployed and plotting them on a worldwide map. And it's telling us that there's over 98,000 units that are currently deployed. But let me put this in perspective. Just to cover the US alone is going to take about 3 million units. It's going to take tens of millions of units to cover all the cities around the world. So we're at the point now where we've got fantastic coverage in terms of having information out there to be able to look at what's going on. And it's not some hypothetical white paper. There's already close to 100,000 units out there, but we've hardly scratched the surface for what we're going to be able to accomplish in the next 3 to 5 years. Now, 10 months ago, 11 months ago, when I started looking at this, there was only 6,000 units that were out there, and they were all in the US and Canada, with the exception of maybe 12 or 14 units or so outside of the US. They started shipping units over into Europe in the fall of 2020. And that's the main focal point, other than in China right now, which has started getting units in the last few months. But the rest of the world, it's only been a handful of units that people have been moving from the places where they've been shipping units into those areas right now. So what we can do, though, is we can zoom in on any one area and see precisely what's going on, and being able to look at a specific unit and getting all the information on that. This is in the London, England area there. So let me just kind of go over first to, in the United States, a place called Vero Beach, Florida. This is a unit called the Trendy Tan Duck. All of the units have kind of a fun name assigned to them. It's a combination of 2 adjectives and a name of an animal. This is in Vero Beach, Florida. Now, why am I showing you this unit? Well, Vero Beach, Florida is where Rick Cotton, our CEO, lives. And 5 months ago, there was not a single unit in Vero Beach, Florida. Right now, there's about 130 units. So he started off with 10 units, one for himself, and he had to find 9 other locations. Unlike Bitcoin or Ethereum miners, you don't have a room or a warehouse full of these things. There's only one in a location. It's all about providing coverage for the IoT devices. So you want your units to be separated by a minimum of about 300 meters or about 1,000 feet. And then the proximity within a kilometer or so of each other is ideal. So he basically put together a marketing and advertising strategy to find those 9 people to host his 9 units to put together his first cluster in Vero Beach. Let's take a look at what's going on with this unit here. I'm just going to a different view here. So what we're looking at is this white dot is the Trendy Tan Duck. These gold dots with the lines coming out to them are part of the proof of coverage algorithm of Helium. They represent units that the Trendy Tan Duck is witnessing its blockchain interactions, but it's witnessing it via radio transmission through this LoRa radio. And these units are also witnessing his transactions, and that generates the most Helium production right now. Down the road, 5 years from now, there's going to be a difference in the weighting, and there'll be more production of Helium through the actual transmission of the IoT data through your unit than there will be through the proof of coverage. But while we're building the network for the next 3 to 5 years, the majority of the Helium that's being generated is based on building the network. You could literally parachute into the Gobi Desert as long as you had power and an internet connection, and put together a cluster of 3, 5, 10 units and be able to generate significant Helium production in an area, even if there's nothing else going on within miles of that area, just because of the proof of coverage that we're in the process of creating. So this unit in the last 30 days, let's see what it earned. It's earned 116 tokens within the last 30 days. So let's put this into perspective here. Now, let's say that you're on this call, you're an iHub affiliate. Didn't cost you anything to do that. You knew this person in Vero Beach, Florida. You reached out to them, and they got a unit as a result of your efforts of doing that. how much would you earn out of that 116 tokens for this 30-day period? Well, if this was one of the first 5 people that you shared this with, you would earn 10% of that, okay? So that would be 11.6 tokens times $12.3. That's $143 US. Now, what if it was your 26 or more referral that you did? You'd be getting 35% of 116 tokens. At 12.3, that's almost $500 that you're getting for just having shared this individual. And that's just for this one 30-day period. You're getting it 24/7, 365. I mean, imagine how wild that is. Nothing, no money out of pocket for you. And you're able to get those kinds of residual income. So what about Rick? What about the guy in Vero Beach that got the unit? What's in it for him for hosting one of these units at his location? You know, he's got the commitment where he has to spend, you know, a dollar or less of electricity, but for what he's getting is 25% of that 116 at 12.3. So that's about $357 US that he's earning for hosting that unit without anything out of pocket coming to this location. So this is the biggest win-win-win opportunity I've ever seen, where we're doing something that's benefiting the community, cities, and towns where these are going. It's benefiting the people that are receiving them. It's benefiting the network that's exposing them and educating people how to take advantage of it. It's benefiting the company. It's benefiting Helium. It's crazy. I've never seen anything with so many wins in it. So let's take a look at a couple of other units here, and then we'll go ahead and do some questions and answers. So this is over in the London area. This is south of London, south of the Thames. This unit is called the Strong Sand Chicken. And I'm pointing this one out because I mentioned earlier that typically this LoRa radio is good for between 1 and 10 miles. But this unit is reaching out way past the 10-mile radius. And that tells me, because in radio, if you have an elevated location, it's got further line of sight. So this unit is probably either on top of a hill or foothills or something overlooking at an area, or more realistically in South London, it's probably a higher floor on a high-rise building. What this unit has generated over the last 30 days is about 142 helium tokens. So again, if you made that referral, okay, and it was in your first team of 1 to 5 people, 142 at 10% is 14.2 tokens at 12.3. That would give you about $175 for this one 30-day period. If it was within your 26 or higher referral, and there's people that have referred hundreds of people, okay, then that would be at 35%. And you'd be getting $611 off of this one referral. Let's look at one more here, and then we'll finish this off and do some questions. This is also in the London area. This is called the Shallow Walnut Yak. Now, for some reason, this is offline right now. Maybe they're doing some kind of movement, but this thing is even higher up. It's reaching even further than that last one. And this unit in the last 30 days has generated over 628 tokens, a crazy number, a high number, but certainly possible. Okay, it's an outlier, but think of who you know that lives like on the top floor or a really high floor of a high-rise building that has high elevations. Those are great locations for putting units. I mean, I live kind of in an elevated area overlooking the Phoenix area, not that I can see it from where I live from my vantage point, but from radio proximity, it's able to do that. And we're getting close to 300 tokens a month just from our location as well. So if this was you that referred this individual, now what's the individual themselves getting? They're getting 25% times 627 at 12.3. That's close to $2,000 a month that they're earning off of this unit for placing it in their location and paying that $1 a month in electricity and hooking it up to their internet connection. If you referred that individual and you were in that first building, that first team, then you would get 62.60, basically 63 tokens. Okay, 63 times 12.3. That's over 700, and that's about $775 that you got just for this one 30-day period. If it was in your fourth team at 623, then you would be over 2.6 thousand US dollars for making that referral. I mean, tell me anywhere you've seen where that possibility exists of being able to make that long-term residual income for just making an introduction and, you know, plugging them into an educational and training system to be able to do that. So let me go ahead and just finally share just a few things here, and then we'll do the Q&A. So if you're looking at this for the first time, then there may be some new ideas here that you're still trying to grasp, and that's okay. It took me a while to do it. It took all of us a while to get all these points, but you don't have to know in detail all of these points. To share this, all you need to do is invite somebody to one of these live presentations or send them a link to a recorded version of it. But, you know, Internet of Things, cryptocurrency, LAR radio, proof of coverage, you know, all these things are new concepts. But to use one of these devices, it's as simple as plugging it into your electricity and your internet, maybe putting it into the best window location, maybe getting a better antenna to assist in the reach of your unit than the one that comes with the unit. But other than that, it's pretty much set it and forget it. Just, you know, and then having the helium come in on a long-term basis. So I want to just kind of bring it to your attention right now that we are at a decision point. Now, I don't know about you, but there's been a few times in my life where I've had some pretty extraordinary opportunities come my way, and I completely didn't get it. I missed them. I didn't take advantage of the opportunity. And, you know, and I look back and go, I just wasn't prepared to understand and see the opportunity. I'm encouraging you to get your questions answered so that you do see this opportunity, that you take advantage of it and make a choice, because we are today precisely because of the choices that we decided to act on in our past. And so I'm encouraging you to choose to get your information answered, become a free affiliate in iHub, start sharing this with people, that these units and the production of iHub is going to bless people around the world. Now, bear this one last thing in mind. Okay. Even if you don't have a unit yourself, even if you're living in an area where we haven't started shipping units in, you can start building an iHub organization around the world. I don't know if you're familiar with the concept that you can connect through any person in the world through 6 degrees of separation. That means that somebody that you know knows somebody that knows somebody, and through 6 of those iterations, you essentially can reach anybody in the world. And so there are people that are already generating significant amounts of helium, and yet they don't have their own miner. They're living in a place where they don't have their own miners. And that's okay, because people in their organizations do. It's completely optional to have a miner to earn everything that's possible in our affiliate compensation structure. Excuse me just a second. So get back together with who invited you, and I'm going to go ahead and finish this presentation. And Simon, if you want to go ahead and maybe deliver some questions. I know that there was a series of questions, but for me to read them and answer them, it's better if somebody could read those questions. Nick, maybe, or Simon, if you want to do that, I'm happy to answer them.
So before the Vietnam team have about 10 questions. So any question from you, the first time you listen to all over the world, to let you ask a question first. Or maybe I bring the question.
Well, let's start. Why don't we start, Simon, with the
let's start with the question, because of the last 10 days we did a couple webinars in Vietnam and get a lot of attention from the people. Sometimes we get 120, 140 participants, you know. So here's some list of questions.
Okay, great. So the first question.
Yeah.
What is
the relation?
Okay, yeah. Why don't you read it? Why don't you read it in Vietnamese and then we'll do it in English.
Câu đầu tiên là mối liên hệ giữa iHub Global với cái token helium đó là như thế nào? So what is the relationship between the iHub Global, our company, network company and helium?
Okay, so Helium started building this project in 2019, and they built an initial piece of technology, their first helium hotspot, but they didn't want to be in the hardware distribution business. They created their unit as a proof of principle. They got the first unit out there just to get the ball rolling so people could understand what the concept was and what it was like to earn helium. That only lasted until some early part of 2020. And then CalChip Connect stepped in and was authorized by Helium to start providing helium hotspots around the globe where we were able to start taking units into. So Helium's focus is the Helium blockchain and working with the Internet of Things providers, use cases, and that sort of thing. So we build the network, the Helium community builds the network, and we're part of the Helium community. We're working with the manufacturers, we're training and educating people and building the network. And so these devices that we're marketing, okay, that we're placing, we're not even marketing the devices, we're building the network of people that are providing us the best addresses to build the network, and we're sharing the helium that's being created as a result of that we're incentivized to do it. So we don't have a direct relationship with the company Helium. Our partners do. Our partners are on their advisory boards and that sort of thing. But we get the Helium tokens as a result of our participation in the physical production of the Helium network. Okay, you can go on to the next one.
Ok, chứ quickly anh chị, chắc là có gì là Simon sẽ tóm tắt sau đi để khỏi mất thời gian nhiều anh chị nha. Nhưng nói tóm lại là hai đơn vị độc lập. Helium là nó có trước năm 2019, 2020 thì CalChip là cái nhà máy sản xuất đó, cùng với cái nhóm này á, iHub Global mới là liên kết lại với nhau, tức là để ra cái thiết bị để mà mining, để mà phục vụ để mà có được cái helium. Nói tóm lại là hai đơn vị độc lập với nhau. iHub Global là trong cái community lớn là helium. Yes. The second question is sao mình đọc tiếng Việt nha, cho anh chị nắm luôn cái chương trình free, cái free nè, cái iHub á, là được công bố là khoảng 130.000 cái thiết bị như thế này á, thì nó sẽ kết thúc sau khi phân bổ hết, hay là nó như thế nào? Tôi có nghĩa là từ cuối tháng 8 đúng không ạ? Có nghĩa là từ bây giờ trở đi free hay là? So the question is we learn about the special promotions. The first 130,000 free device will be distributed, and the promotion will be finished when on this quantity will be completely distributed, or when we finish the promotion.
Okay, so just so that you understand, right now there's a huge demand for helium hotspots because the global semiconductor supply chain is so limited right now. It's not possible to provide units for everybody that wants them. And so for iHub to be able to command access to a substantial number of units, we've had to put together a program bringing in investors so that we can buy large numbers of units to lock in the global supply chain production of helium hotspots. Maybe you want to go ahead and translate that.
Tức là đến hiện nay đó, dù cái nhu cầu nó lớn lắm luôn, cả thế giới, cái nhu cầu mà có những cái thiết bị để mà phục vụ mà để mining là truyền dữ liệu của helium này nè. Đấy, thì hiện nay là những cái con chip, những cái chip mà để sản xuất nó không hiện nay là rất là khó, nên công ty tập đoàn nó cũng phải khoanh dùng lại đó, để mà xem cái những ưu tiên hay là sản xuất như thế nào, dùng nào. Nói chung là nhu cầu cực kỳ lớn, không phải lúc nào nó cũng có thể có sản phẩm, có thiết bị liền.
So what we're doing is we're buying large amounts of helium units at a time with a purchase order to lock in as much of the available supply chain as possible.
Và cái công ty của chúng ta đó là iHub Global đó, là phải đặt một số lượng rất lớn, phải xuống tiền, phải đặt số lượng lớn thì mình mới lót vô, mình mới có thể là lấy được cái đơn hàng để mà trong cái chuỗi phân phối của họ đó, mình mới lót vô được, chứ còn không thì là khó lắm, mình phải đặt một số lượng lớn như thế. Yes.
So those 130,000 units are only the beginning. Those are just the ones that we've locked in that's going to carry us through the end of the year and into the beginning first quarter of 2022.
Và 130.000 thiết bị này là của công ty, của tập đoàn đã đặt hàng rồi. Hy vọng là từ đây tới cuối năm hoặc là qua cái quý 1 hay là nó cũng sẽ hết cái số này rồi, có thể là tính tiếp. Yes.
So the units aren't exactly free. I mean, we're buying them, or more specifically, our investors in iHub are buying them. They get a percentage of the units, and we provide the actual locations and put the units out in locations so that everybody's earning money. And so the units are really owned by the investors in iHub for putting it together, but the locations, the host will have the units indefinitely.
Và chúng tôi có những cái nhà đầu tư, investor đó, họ invest số tiền để họ sở hữu cái device này, và dĩ nhiên là họ sẽ có một cái phần lớn, tại vì họ là người bỏ tiền ra mua cái thiết bị, còn chúng ta đó là miễn phí 100%. Nên chính cái đó mà thiết bị đặt ở đâu đó, chúng ta là cái người chủ, cái người mà giống như mình cho mượn địa điểm hay là hợp tác để mà đặt cái địa điểm á, để đặt cái hub cái thiết bị này á, thì chúng ta sẽ được chia cái phần trong đó. Nhưng cái phần lớn tại vì sẽ trả cho cái nhà đầu tư. Để giống như mình gia công vậy đó anh chị, gia công mà đặt cái đó ở tại địa điểm, tại cái vị trí của mình. Yes.
Okay, you can go on to the next question.
So that means after 130,000 device, there's possibility to have more free device, right?
Oh, absolutely. You will get another 130 to cover the next 2 quarters or the next quarter, whatever. The point is now we're able to buy it at the very top, working with one of the world's largest manufacturers that we're working with directly on this. So yeah, we're looking to be able to control a major portion of the entire helium community.
Dạ, sao mình có hỏi là sao 130.000 này á là có tiếp tục được miễn phí hay là tập đoàn có tính như thế nào? Ông trả lời là dĩ nhiên rồi, các nhà đầu tư của họ rất là đam mê cái này anh chị, họ không thiếu tiền, họ không thiếu tiền đâu, nên là sau 130.000 nó lại tiếp tục cái số lượng lớn nữa cho một hai quý như vậy đó, tại vì cái nhu cầu nó lớn lắm, và các nhà đầu tư, các nhà mà investor lớn đó, họ hiểu được giá trị và họ sẵn sàng họ xuống tiền. Nên cái chuyện là tiếp tục miễn phí vẫn có thể có chị, vẫn tiếp tục có, tức là ông trả lời là có. Thank you Michael. The next question is, cái công ty sẽ làm việc với từng quốc gia về tần số sóng mà thiết bị sẽ được hoạt động. Tức là mỗi quốc gia nó có tần số sóng khác nhau á, có nghĩa là công ty này có phải là liên lạc từng quốc gia để làm để coi cái tần sóng và xin giấy phép nếu có không, để trước khi nó sản xuất cho từng thị trường cụ thể. Tại là cái sóng AF á, nó khác nhau anh chị, thì có câu hỏi là có trường hợp nào là không được giấy phép không? So we understand like when each country approximates have about 5 or 10,000 units order per country, like Vietnam for example, no order device in Vietnam right now. So the company will collaborate with each country for the possible license or permit to use the RF in the country before the company start doing the production. Is that true?
Yes. So there's a couple of steps in this. Number one, all of the LoRa radio components have already been approved worldwide in every country as far as their equivalent. In the US, we have something called the FCC. It has to do with the radio waves to make sure there's no interference in other types of activities. But every specific brand of product, and there's multiple brands of helium hotspots now that we're going to be working with, every particular brand has to be approved individually, submitted to each country. The country makes their money charging for the certification for importation. It's a rubber stamp because the LoRa devices have already been approved, but it takes 2 to 3 months for each one of those to go through. Now they've already done the first unit that we've been focused on, the beginning, a unit from a company called RAK. So that's been done primarily, most countries around the world. CalChip has already done that. They take care of doing that certification process. But as we start focusing on which units other units besides that we'll be sending to different countries, they'll have to get those additional brands certified. So what actually, I'll give you a chance to translate that.
Thank you, Michael.
There it is.
Remember Vietnam, right? Remember Vietnam too, right? We asked for particular country, Vietnam, 100 million member,
Yeah.
population 100 million people. Sao mà ông trả lời đó anh chị, ông trả lời là gì ạ? Thật ra cái sóng để hoạt động cái thiết bị này thường thường là nó được, nó bình thường thôi, nó có gì là gọi là đặc biệt mà can thiệp vô an ninh quốc phòng hay những cái gì của các quốc gia đó. Thực ra cái sóng đó là cái sóng rất bình thường. Dĩ nhiên là mỗi lần mà bước vô thì họ cũng phải xem, họ phải đăng ký cái thiết bị đó tại quốc gia đó để mà đóng thuế nhập khẩu, những cái loại thuế của nó tính cái phí cho từng cái thiết bị thôi. Thì nói chung là theo ổng là không có cái gì khó, mà thậm chí nếu cần thiết mình kiếm cái nhà máy sản xuất cái thiết bị thay đổi tần sóng, tại vì helium nó có hoạt động trên nhiều tần sóng lắm chứ không phải là một cái cố định đâu. Nên cái cách của ông nói là không có cái gì khó cái này đó. Khi mà bước vô thì sẽ phải làm đủ những cái thủ tục để xin phép, nó có bộ phận nó làm những cái đó. Ở bên Mỹ thì có FCC, nó giống như là bộ truyền thông viễn thông của họ đó, của Mỹ thì ở quốc gia khác cũng tương tự vậy. Nó tóm lại cái sóng này nó không có can thiệp vô cái vụ an ninh quốc phòng của quốc gia, và bảo chắc chắn là công ty sẽ xin giấy phép, chủ yếu là đóng thuế thôi, thuế để nhập cái thiết bị đó như thế nào thôi. Thì đó là những cái mà ông trả lời. So is that possible Vietnam cannot accept the device in Vietnam? Maybe not, right?
Well, where we are right now is we're supposed to be in the process. We're supposed to be shipping units in Southeast Asia right now. That was the original plan. But because the supply chain was much more challenging than even understood back in December last year, when all the plans were put together, we've had to back off. Or when I say we, I mean CalChip Connect had to back off a little bit so they can get more product in motion to be able to provide the demand that's out there. And so we're probably off till the end of the year or something before we continue on in doing Southeast Asia. But at the end of the year, like I mentioned, there's a major one of the biggest world manufacturers of electronics out there is going to be producing. Even then, they still have to be able to get the chips, but the supply chain shortage is getting better. You know, it'd probably be another year before it gets back to where it was before the pandemic. But we'll be doing that and getting ever increasingly larger numbers available. So realistically, we're probably looking sometime around the very end of the year or the very beginning of next year before we're able to go there.
Đó thì ông trả lời là đáng lẽ ra ở Đông Nam Á đó là đã ship theo kế hoạch rồi, nhưng mà vừa rồi vụ mà Covid-19 nó ảnh hưởng toàn bộ cái dây chuyền sản xuất. Nhưng mà công ty cũng liên lạc những cái nhà máy mà sản xuất coi như nhà máy lớn để tìm cái chip mà để sản xuất thì cũng chẳng tiếp tục, và hy vọng rằng là sang năm nó sẽ ổn định lại, nó sẽ quay lại cái sản xuất ban đầu được. Đó thì về lý thuyết thực tế thì chắc sớm lắm, phải cuối năm nay hoặc đầu năm sau thì Đông Nam Á nó sẽ bắt đầu có những sản phẩm đó. Tức là cũng phải tới cuối năm nay đó anh chị, nó mới có thể là quay lại, nó có được sản phẩm, đặc biệt ở thị trường Việt Nam mình hay là thị trường Đông Nam Á. Okay.
But that could change, you know. I mean, if
nếu mà anh ok thì.
But that could change, Simon, as more units are become available. We may be able to accelerate the movement into some of the other countries like Vietnam.
Dĩ nhiên ông nói là có thể thay đổi, có thể nhanh hơn. Nếu mà bạn đặt nhiều cái thiết bị thì bên tập đoàn công ty đặt cái nhà máy có thể thay đổi chiến lược hay là thay đổi ưu tiên cho quốc gia đó. Nếu thì có thể là Việt Nam mà nếu làm tốt thì sẽ tập trung để mà đưa sản phẩm về Việt Nam sớm hơn. So let's say we sao mình đọc tiếng Việt ha, ở các quốc gia mà cái Internet of Things nó kết nối vạn vật mà chưa phát triển thì thiết bị sẽ hoạt động như thế nào? Tại vì nếu không có công ty nó dùng cái đó không trả được vụ phí thì làm sao mà có helium? Đó thì câu hỏi là như thế anh chị. In some country when the Internet of Things has not been developed, that means less company using that. So what will be with our device? Can we still get the helium?
Yeah, so as I mentioned in the presentation, For the next 3 to 5 years, the primary creation of helium in the helium mining production is based on building the network. And the IoT stuff will catch up over the next 10, 15 years. And then down the road, that'll be the major source of revenue once the network is already built. But while we're building the network, we're paid handsomely for building the network. So even if there's zero IoT available in an area for the next 3 to 5 years, we'll still be able to earn the same amount of helium just for building the network.
Oh, really? But in the city, in that country, nobody using that. How can
it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because the proof of coverage is based on the building of the network, not on the movement of the IoT data.
Okay. Cái này hơi confused, mình không hiểu lắm, nhưng mà đại khái ông trả lời là dĩ nhiên là Internet of Things là nó là cái vấn đề lớn thế giới, xu thế của toàn cầu phải đi theo cái hướng đó thôi. Không có thì bây giờ mình build cái những cái hub á, nó gọi là proof of coverage, tức là chứng minh cái phủ sóng á chị. Thì cái đó nó được trả bằng cái đó, nên dù là cái mình hiểu rồi nó vẫn phát triển, tại vì cái trong 10-15 năm tới nó vẫn phát triển mạnh cái đó, thì có lẽ ít có nhiều thôi chứ chẳng phải vẫn có anh chị, vẫn có. Anh chị em nào mà có rành được cái này nhảy vô dịch vụ xem anh cái này nha. Có thấy có anh Phong ở Mỹ á, thấy có thiết bị về Android đúng không? Tí nữa anh Phong giao lưu thêm sau cái này nha. Không biết là anh Phong ở San Jose không? Ok. Okay, the member, they asking if they want to pay for the device. If they make some money and they can own device and pay extra because they want to earn more percentage for the helium, is that possible or not?
Not through iHub.
Ok. Tức là không có đâu anh chị. iHub đã chuyển chính sách đó rồi, có nhà đầu tư lớn rồi. Thì có lẽ là cái câu hỏi là giống như là mình mua luôn thiết bị, mình sở hữu rồi mình có được 3, 4, 50% gì đó, thì chắc là không có. iHub bây giờ là không đi chính sách đó nữa. Nó nhất quán, chắc là nhất quán của toàn cầu. Cái gì nó cũ nó xảy ra đó, người ta đã mua thiết bị từ 500 đô cho tới 1.000 đô đó, thì họ earn 4-50% từ cái chuyện gì đã xảy ra thì xảy ra rồi. Còn bây giờ cho đi là họ đã có chính sách là nhà đầu tư lớn họ đầu tư và họ giao cái đó cho mình phát triển mạng lưới và gia công, coi như đặt thiết bị thôi anh chị. Nên ông trả lời là từ iHub là không có bán thiết bị nữa.
You see, Simon, in order for us to be able to buy such large quantities of units, in order to control the supply chain, we have to have the investors do that. And so that's all part of our commitment to the investors, is that we're going to place the units that they're buying.
Okay, I
and
got
so
it.
we can't compete with that and be able to get the investors to make this work.
Ok, ông trả lời đó. Tại vì sao? Để mà mua được số lượng lớn để mà từ nhà máy, cái thằng nhà máy nào cũng vậy đó anh chị, phải mua số lượng lớn đó. Thì iHub bây giờ phải cam kết với các nhà đầu tư á, là họ bỏ tiền vô và mình phải bảo vệ quyền lợi của họ mới mua được số lượng lớn, có số tiền nhiều. Chứ còn bây giờ mà chia nhỏ ra như thế thì nó không đảm bảo được cái số lượng đặt hàng để có hàng. Nên họ đã thay đổi chính sách. Chắc là xem nghĩ chính sách này mới thay đổi từ 1 tháng 7 hoặc cách đây 2 tuần 3 tuần thôi anh chị. Trước đây người ta phải mua, còn bây giờ có nhà đầu tư lớn rồi, không gọi là thiên thần nữa, họ thấy rõ lợi nhuận rồi, nên mình phải iHub phải cam kết là để cho họ mua, và mình là chỉ phát triển cộng đồng thôi nha. Okay, we learned about the matching bonus 5%. What the condition and requirement? Because some leader here in the Zoom today, they don't understand much about the complaint. They really want to understand more about that. Did you want to just skip some of those questions for time? Okay. Yeah, we come back. So let's say the next question is cái câu kế là nếu hai thiết bị mà đặt gần nhau trong khoảng cách dưới 300 mét thì như thế nào, giải quyết như thế nào? So the next question number 8, if two should be, the question is, if by incident they order, the member order, and if the more than 2 device installed within the 300 meter range. So do we have a software, something to know about that and how to optimize that, how the priorities for the first member?
Our software does that. Our software knows, and once we get a unit in an area, it's not going to allow somebody to put another unit within that range.
Okay.
Now but that's just for our software in the helium community. We can't control what other people do, but we're hoping that helium will change their algorithm to support it. Like before, they didn't even have the 300 meter exclusion. They added that about a year ago. So we're having discussions about having even a better change, that once there's a unit within the 300 exclusion zone, if somebody else puts a unit in there, it won't be able to earn as much. So that it doesn't hurt the first person as much by them doing it. But that hasn't been implemented yet. But our software won't allow that to happen. Now we can go back and answer that question about the matching bonus, Simon. I didn't mean to jump ahead. It's just that you skip 2 or 3 other questions, but I'm happy to talk about the matching bonus.
Can we come back to the complaint at the end, because of many?
Okay, sure.
Ask about this question. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Cái câu mà về matching bonus 5% để quay lại cuối cùng đi, tại nhà ông sẽ chia sẻ lại chính sách trả thưởng anh chị. Thì cái câu thứ 8 rất là thú vị đó, giống như là anh Khánh chia sẻ đó, là nếu mà bạn mà không cấm cờ chiếm đất á, bạn thua người khác đó, thì cái thiết bị thứ hai đó là cái phần mềm nó có, và nó sẽ định vị, nó không cho phép bạn là ráp cái người thứ hai mà ráp cái thiết bị trong khoảng cách, trong cái bán kính là 300 mét như thế anh chị ha. Dĩ nhiên là trong iHub mình quản lý được, còn những cái thiết bị của công ty khác nó có nằm kế mình không thì không biết được ha. Thì hiện nay lập trình là nó bắt buộc như thế, còn sau này có thay đổi hay không thì tính sao, nhưng mà họ muốn bảo vệ cái người đầu tiên đặt cái đó, thì muốn đặt cái thứ hai là nó phải ngoài cái phạm vi 300 mét mới được đó. Nên cái đó là tại sao mà anh chị em là ở chung cư á, xem mà nói thêm thôi, anh chị em là ở chung cư á, mà làm đặt trễ á, là mốt là người thứ hai là phải đi xách ở chung cư khác cách 300 mét mới đặt được. So talking about antenna, we know the pre-installed antenna within the device. If we want to improve the efficiencies to receive the data, can we buy the extra somewhere for the antenna?
Yes, definitely. I mean, it depends on the location. If you're in a high-rise building, the antenna that comes with it is probably adequate, because the height is more important than the antenna. But yeah, no, we definitely recommend people getting an external antenna. It makes a big difference in how far the reach is.
Dạ, chắc chắn thì nó sẽ có về kỹ thuật, thì nó sẽ cũng khuyến khích mình nghiên cứu tùy theo địa điểm mình đặt thôi. Nếu mà mình ở trong cái tòa nhà rất cao mà ngoài kế cửa sổ ở đâu đó, thì có thể là mình dùng cái loại antenna nào đó, thì cái đó thì về mặt kỹ thuật thì nó sẽ có hướng dẫn thôi. Tôi cũng khuyến khích các bạn là mình hiểu để mình biết mình có nên đầu tư thêm một tí để mà nhận được sóng nhiều hơn, để cho cái nhiều helium mà không á. Nhưng thì cái này thì về mặt kỹ thuật sau này có mình tính tiếp anh chị, hỏi cho biết thôi chứ còn sớm lắm. Okay, number 10. Okay, like you maybe you already answered, but want to make sure again. Okay, how the quotation, how the maximum, how the minimum device we have to make sure in country in Vietnam before the company put Vietnam on the priority list for the production and shipment.
I'm suggesting to get like at least 10,000 people reserving units in the country.
Okay.
That shouldn't take very long.
Đó, thì Simon nói là ráng ưu tiên cho Việt Nam nó như thế nào, thì ông nói là tôi muốn là các bạn phải được 10.000 thiết bị. Đó, thì họ sẽ để ý thị trường Việt Nam, sản xuất cho thị trường Việt Nam, tìm cách xin giấy phép để mà vô thị trường Việt Nam sớm so với các quốc gia khác ở Đông Nam Á luôn anh chị. Nha, cái này là anh em mình ngượng tay, các đội nhóm khác nhau, sai like gì cũng không quan trọng. Cái này mình phải xúm nhau để mà có được cái sản phẩm, có được cái order đặt hàng phải đã được tối thiểu 10.000 anh chị. So when the company ship the product, can they ship to the representative company or the leader of the group, or they have to ship to individual address?
Well, CalChip Connect is our partner, and they do most of the programming and shipping. So for various different countries, they may have a logistics company within that country that they ship to their warehouse, and then it gets redistributed from there.
Dĩ nhiên là CalChip là cái nơi mà sản xuất nhà máy, họ cũng kinh nghiệm trong cái chuyện ship hàng lắm chị. Thì nó phụ thuộc vào các quốc gia khác nhau, rồi phong tục hay là những cái cách đó. Thì có thể họ ship trong một cái warehouse nào đó, một cái kho hàng nào đó, rồi từ đó nó sẽ chuyển đi anh chị. Thì cũng là một cái cách, một cái cách để nó ship hàng. So maybe number 12 and the matching bonus and the matching bonus and the complaint. Maybe can you help us out? Maybe share more about the complaint, because many leaders here they
All right,
really want to learn more.
All right, let me show you a little bit about that. Okay, I'm not going to go into a full training on it, but at least answer your questions. Give me a second to bring up a PowerPoint that we could use for this.
Sẽ chia sẻ cái chính sách trả thưởng không có chi tiết, tại vì bữa nay là chi tiết nó nhiều lắm, có thể bữa khác, nhưng mà muốn cho mình thấy được cái cách cái chính sách trả thưởng nó như thế nào anh chị. Phải từng bước thôi, đừng có cần một ngày mà hỏi nhiều quá bởi đầu á. Tí đi, lần sau mình hỏi tiếp, nâng cấp mình lên, mình hiểu xong rồi anh chị, là bữa sau mình hỏi chuyên đề, chỉ là chính sách trả thưởng thôi nha. Thì cho mình nghĩ vậy nó hợp lý anh chị. Nhiều quá rồi mình rối á, thay mình còn nghe đi nghe lại mấy lần mình chưa hiểu rõ nữa. Nói thật luôn, cũng chưa hiểu rõ luôn.
Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay, so basically in the plan, you're building 4 teams of people. Okay, we've covered that lightly. The first team is your pro team, the first 5 people. So none of the members of this team are ever part of another team. They're always independent. The first 5 people are your pro team. You're getting 20%. This is, I got to update the slide. You're getting 20% on their units, and you're getting a 10% matching bonus on the pro team, the codes, the bronze, silver, and gold codes earned by these 5 people. And I'll come back to that in just a second. Let me just kind of give you an overview, and then I'll go to that, answer your question specifically. Once you get to your bronze team, starting with your 6th person, the next 10 people, you're building your bronze team, and you're getting this bronze code on the first 5 people, or the pro team of everybody on this organization's pro team to infinity, 5%. But the way this code is, only one person's getting the code. It's not like multiple people get the code. Because of the way our plan works, only one person gets it. So it's not like there's no way we can pay it out, that there's too much going out, right? And I'll show you that a little bit more in detail. So you got your pro team code that's here, and then your match increases to 15% once you start building your bronze team. Once you get to your silver team, you're now getting a 10% on their pro teams, their first 5s to infinity. And then you're also getting a 20% match now on the 5 people here. And then you're also getting a 5% on these people's bronze team, right? Because after your number 16th person brings in their first 5 people, you're getting 10% of all that. Once they bring in their own 6th person, now building their own bronze team, right? So you're no longer getting that code. They're getting the code. This number 16 through 25 person, once they're a bronze, they're building their own bronze team, but you're still getting that 5% silver code overriding their bronze teams. And then gold, you get the ability to override everybody's pro team, then override their silver and gold teams. Override their bronze teams, So here you're overriding their pro team, here you're overriding their bronze team, and here you're overriding their silver team to be able to get that. Once somebody gets to the gold level and you're 26 or above, they're now getting all three of these codes. So you're earning a big chunk on the first 25 people's, the first 25 people's first 25 people to infinity in this plan. So you don't get paid on every individual. You get a high amount on a selected group of people based on these four teams. So the amount that's the code. So let's use an example. Let's say here you are, Simon. Here's the first person on your pro team. And this is somebody that's a big builder. They go out and they're building a lot of width. You know, they go gold. They got a lot of width. What are you earning on that? Well, you're earning a matching bonus on their codes. So where do they get their codes from? They get their codes once they start building their own bronze or higher business. So this person now is building this, and they're getting codes on this shaded area here. They're getting this 5% to infinity on their bronzes, but as they go to silver, they're getting paid 5 or 10% on everybody in their organization's first 16 people. And then when they get to gold, they're getting paid 5 to 15% of that gold, everybody in the first 25 peoples to infinity in that gold group. Whatever those codes are what you match, okay? And you match either 10 to 25% based on where you are. So if you just brought in one person and that's all you ever did, and they got to be a gold, and they started generating codes, you would get a 10% match or whatever the codes they generated. So if they generated 1,000 tokens in a month in all of their bronze, silver, and gold codes, you get 10% or 100 tokens. But the minute you start building your own bronze team, your match on that same individual goes from 10 to 15%. So now you're earning 150 tokens on that 1,000. And once you start building a silver team, now you're getting 200 tokens out of that 1,000. And once you start building your gold team, you're getting 250 tokens out of that 1,000. Not that they're getting less than 1,000. That 100 to 250 tokens that you're getting, well, matching their 1,000 is on top of what they're earning as 1,000. So does that explain the matching bonus?
Kind of. I try to follow. Still not fully comprehensive.
No, that's okay. You can ask a clarifying question if you're not sure you understand.
Anh chị em nào hiểu được cái chỗ cái matching bonus 5% này không? Cứ lên tiếng phát biểu coi sao. Sao mình vẫn còn confuse cái này lắm. Ví dụ như bạn á, cái Pro 1 á là cái người đầu tiên trong cái team Pro. Team Pro là team gì? Mình có 4 cái team thôi anh chị. 4 cái team thôi. 4 cái team đầu tiên là Pro, 5 người đầu tiên. 10 người kế là Bronze, 10 người tới nữa là Silver, và người thứ 26 trở đi là gọi là Gold. Thì ai trong cái group nào á là nằm mãi trong cái group đó. Thì có phải là nhìn người đầu tiên nè, trong cái Pro, mà trong cái Pro đẻ ra 5 người.
So Simon,
Yeah.
there's two important components to the matching business, the matching bonus rather.
Mm-hmm.
The first component is, what is it that you're matching? You're matching the coded bonuses that the person receives. So they have to become a bronze or higher before they start receiving any codes. Once they become a bronze or higher, then you're going to match what they've received. The next part of it is how much of it you're matching. And the amount that you're matching is based on what rank you've achieved. So if you're just building at the pro level, you're going to get 10%. But once you build all the way to the gold level, the amount that you're matching will go from 10 to 25%.
Đó thì cái câu hỏi là có mấy yếu tố quan trọng về cái matching bonus. Đầu tiên á là cái group mà 5 người đầu tiên á thì bạn không được cái matching bonus đâu. Muốn matching bonus cái đầu tiên á là phải những người trong cái group mà group thứ 2 trở đi. Tức là cái group bronze đó, người thứ 6 trở đi á. Đó là cái thứ nhất. Thì mình mới được cái matching bonus. Còn cái thứ hai là được nhiều hơn 5, 10, 15, 20, 25% đó là mình càng về sau càng, tức là mình là phải vươn qua khỏi cái group thứ 3, thứ 4. Thì càng về mình mà coi như càng nhiều người trong F1 của mình á thì mình sẽ được cái matching nhiều hơn. Đó, thì hiểu như thế đó chị, tức là đầu tiên phải nói là 5 người đầu tiên mình không có matching bonus, nhưng bắt đầu cái bronze đi đó, thì mình được matching bonus. Mình matching bonus nhiều hết phụ thuộc vào mình theo hàng ngang. Nếu mình có càng nhiều người F1 á thì cái matching bonus mình nó sẽ nhiều. Xem anh nợ cái này đi, xem anh phải nghiên cứu kỹ lại, nghe đi nghe lại rồi có việc phân tích với vài anh em quốc tế với anh em Việt Nam đi rồi giải thích sao nha chị, chứ không là nó cũng rối á. So what is your best advice right now, Michael? We should have many level 1 and then help them to build deep. Also what?
Yes, yeah, this is a plan where you want to go very wide, and then you help the people go deep.
Okay.
So you want to get to gold as quickly as possible, but keep on going wide, way past that. There's people that have enrolled hundreds of people personally, and so yeah, you want to go wide, and then you want to build deep.
Okay. Should we select the best leader we think in the each group, or just build not naturally?
If you're personally enrolling them and you think that they're going to go wide, then they are good candidates for your pro team. I mean, we never know for sure, Simon, who's going to actually build,
Okay,
right? Yeah.
Ok, thì thật ra ông nói đơn giản hóa như thế này đi anh chị. Cái mô hình này như thế này á, là mình phải đi theo chiều rộng, có nghĩa là càng nhiều F1 càng tốt. Rồi bắt đầu người ta làm việc là mình giúp họ xây sâu xuống. Tại vì mình cứ cân đo đong đếm, ông này phải ở trong cái lúc này, tại vì mình nghĩ thôi chứ ông vô không có làm đâu. Nhưng mà tưởng thủ lĩnh, cuối cùng thủ lĩnh chả làm gì hết. Rồi người bình thường họ lại làm. Nên ông khuyên là cứ nhẹ nhàng, cứ xây dựng theo hàng ngang lên chị. Rồi cứ giúp họ đi sâu xuống thì kiểu gì cũng kiếm tiền. Đó, thì cái đó mình nghĩ nó cũng thú vị á. Lời khuyên của ổng là gì? Đôi lúc mình nghĩ người ta thủ lĩnh, người ta vô ta chả làm gì đâu. Nên đừng có nặng nề là ông thủ lĩnh nó phải đặt trong cái nhóm nào. Còn nếu mà tâm thái mình giúp cho cộng đồng người ta kiếm tiền được, mình kiếm tiền được, thì anh chị cứ ai trong hệ thống mình thì cứ giúp sâu xuống, càng sâu càng tốt. Vậy đó thì mình nghĩ nó sẽ hợp lý. Nên ông nói là nếu làm được thì cả 100 F1 luôn cũng được đó. Yeah. So any questions from
Well, let me just show you one last thing, Simon.
Thank you. Continue,
Okay.
please.
So I want to just show you how there's only one person that's getting the bronze code. There's only one person getting the silver code. There's only one person getting the gold code. Although it's possible for one person to get more than just the bronze code. They could actually get the bronze, silver, and gold code, but only one of those codes is paid out per unit. Okay. So let's say, for example, you're building your bronze team. You brought in these 10 people. The first person brings in their first 5. That actually rolls up to you on your front line, and you're getting that 5% code. And then the next one rolls up to you. And then when they bring in their first 5, it rolls up to you. And when they bring it, rolls up to you. So you're actually getting all of those bronze codes rolling up to you as one level. That's why we're in a one level. That's why we're able to be an affiliate program, because it basically all rolls up, and that's how you get paid.
So let me verify. That means each member in the bronze team, 10 of them. If they build 5 of them, so 5.
That's right. That's right. The first 5 people that all of these 10 people bring in forever roll up to your front line as far as the bronze, as far as getting paid the bronze code.
So that means 5%, right?
That's 5%, yes.
Okay, cái câu này là để ý lại nha anh chị. Những người trong cái bronze team của mình có 10 người đúng không ạ? Maximum là 10 người. Trước khi mình qua silver thì mỗi cái người trong cái bronze team á, người ta được 5 người F1 đầu tiên của họ. 5 người F1 đầu tiên của họ thì được xem là được xem như là ngang hàng của mình đó, tức là mình được 5% của những cái người F1 đó. So let's say right, the member number 6 here, they have a 5 member on their first level. That means our second level.
So let's say that, so this person here, their first 5 people rolled up to you because they're not getting paid the bronze code on their first 5 people. You are.
Okay, got it.
Once they
okay.
get to their 6th person, now the bronze, now the people are rolling up to their first level for them to get the bronze code on their 6, on their people's 6, their people's 6 team. Once they start building their own bronze team, now the bronze code is rolling up to them, but that begins with their 6 people. So the first 5 people is rolling up to you.
So the bronze cost is là 5%, right?
Yes.
Ok, hiểu rồi anh chị, hiểu cái này rồi nè. Nghe kỹ cái này nha. Có phải là 5 người đầu tiên của mình á, cái pro team á, thì mình không có được, mình có 10% thôi. Thì bây giờ nè, có phải là cái người thứ 6 cho tới người thứ 15, thứ 6 tới 15 là 10 người trong cái bronze team anh chị, thì mỗi người cũng phải là 5 người đầu tiên của họ, họ đâu có được ơn cái gì đâu, giống như cái pro team của mình thôi. 5 người đầu tiên của người thứ 6 mình thì người thứ 6 không được mà mình được. Nó thú vị cho anh chị, mình được 5%. Xem anh hiểu rồi thì thôi, để đào tạo tiếng Việt chia sẻ thêm anh chị, cái này hiểu rồi, hiểu rõ rồi. I got it. Wonderful.
Right.
So can you move to the silver? I want to see the silver. Now I understand about Ron.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's the same thing, except for on the first 5 people, you're getting 10%. You're getting both the bronze code and the silver code on the first 5
Got it.
people.
I understand now. Yeah, good. Cái này để giải thích cái việc sao nha anh chị. Cái này bắt đầu sao mình hiểu được rồi. So how to cheat for the gold team?
It's the same thing in the gold team. You got your 10, and then now you got the 3 5% codes, the bronze, silver, and the gold code. On the first 5 people, you get all 3 of those for 15%. And then as they start building, and then when your people that you personally enrolled start building their own bronze team, you no longer get the bronze code on their bronze team, they get it, but you're still getting the silver and the gold code. And once these people start building their silver team, they're getting the 5% silver code on their silver team. They're getting the 5% bronze code on their bronze team, but you're still getting the 5% gold code until they get to gold. And then after that, they're getting all 3, just like you were getting all 3.
Okay.
So again, just going back real quick, let me just give you one more visualization.
Đúng rồi, nó giống, nếu mà gọi hiểu cái kiểu là khi mà cái team của mình á, cái đồng đội của mình mà đạt được cái danh hiệu ngang mình á, thì họ thấy cái code đó mình phải buông. So
that's what you're seeing here is when you start building your gold team, everybody's pro team rolls up to your level and you're getting all 3 codes. Once these people start building their own bronze team, the silver and gold team is rolling up to you. And once they start building their silver team, the gold team is rolling up to you for 5%. So you get between 5 and 15% on the first 25 people of everybody in your gold team's organization. In this case, you're getting 5 to 10% on everybody's first 15 people. And here you're getting 5% on everybody's first 5 people. And in here, you're getting the matching bonus on those first 5 people.
Okay. I understand now.
All right. All right, guys, if there's any last minute questions, otherwise I've got to run to an appointment, but I wanted to make sure I could give you the time that you needed to get your questions answered.
1-2 câu hỏi gì nữa? So any question from any team you guys around the world? Ok. Thôi Việt Nam mình sẽ summarize sau nha anh chị, để cho cũng dài rồi, để hiểu xong rồi bắt đầu sẽ giải thích. So any more questions? Okay, other than that, so Must understand more about the complaint more and more now.
Yeah, it's very different than anything I've ever seen. I've written comp plans. I'm somewhat of an expert in compensation plans, and this is unlike anything I've ever seen. But it is the most powerful plan I've ever seen.
The last question before we finish. Let's say one day on the helium's mine, no more. So what we're going to do with the device? We still can do right?
Well, here's the thing. They'll always produce helium. There's a maximum number of helium to be produced. Let me just kind of share this real quick.
Anh hỏi là nếu mà đến ngày đó là helium mine hết thì thiết bị nó làm gì giờ? Thì ông nói lúc nào cũng vẫn có cái mine của helium đó. Để trả lời tiếp là sao ạ?
One second here. Let me show you. So there's 223 million tokens to be produced. Okay.
123 triệu gì đó. Cái token đó.
But as the Internet of Things companies are using or getting their data or buying their data, they have to buy helium tokens and convert it into data credits to get their data, right? So you can see here in this metric that there's already over 169 billion data credits that have been spent. So when a helium token is converted to a data credit, it burns the token and it removes it from circulation. And so that much more can be mined, so that as the network is built and there's a lot of IoT traffic, there'll be the production, the mining of the helium tokens, but they'll also be consumed by the IoT devices and create an ecosystem that's very stable with production and consumption of it, so that the mining will never stop. There'll always be more mining to produce helium to replace the tokens that have been burned to create data tokens to pay for the IoT.
But the total number 223 millions, that's a fixed amount, right?
That's a fixed amount. That's the ceiling. No more can be produced once it hits that ceiling.
Okay.
But you can see, I mean, there's already been $1.7 million worth of helium that's already been taken out of circulation. And so as more and more helium is purchased to pay for the IoT data, it takes that out of circulation. And then there's other things that the data credits are used. When people change their address, it costs data credits. When you transfer helium from one wallet to the other, it uses data credits. So that they've got a very, very sound tokenomics model of creation and consumption of helium to be able to generate, continue the mining for a 50-year period.
15 year, 15, right?
No, 50.
Oh my gosh. Ông nói cái mining mà nó đi riết chắc phải 50 năm đó. Thôi hỏi nhiều quá nhức đầu quá. Cái technical anh em mình hỏi cho biết thôi. Ai rành sau này có cái chuyên đề riêng cho anh chị. Sao mình cũng muốn học chứ mà nghe nhiều quá nhức đầu rồi. Biết là đi rất vài chục năm. Vài chục năm. Chuyên đề học thêm đi. Sau này anh chị nào giỏi về cái token mix của nó thì mình sẽ có chuyên đề riêng anh chị. So that's mean we can install the device and can go very long, many years in the business, right?
Decades. For decades, we'll be receiving residual income from our devices.
Ông nói là cũng tối thiểu là phải decade là 10 năm, lúc nào cũng nhận được cái tiền thụ động anh chị. Nó tới từ cái thiết bị của mình. Okay. So thank you so much for spending time and explain very detailed, complain, answer the question, and the business and advise. Thank you, Michael and Nick. And remember, don't forget Vietnam, right? We try very soon.
No, we're definitely not forget. We can't forget Vietnam with you out there, Simon.
Thank you so much, Michael. Ok, cảm ơn tất cả anh chị em rất nhiều nha. Để tổng hợp lại đi, rồi có thể nay mai mình sẽ ngồi lại nói tiếng Việt nhau, nó sẽ hiểu hơn anh chị nha. Để này tổng hợp lại cái rồi anh em mình thảo luận trong cái Zoom riêng. So one more time, thank you so much for all of my friends participate listening to. First time, you guys had to listen a couple of times. I listened 10 times already, more than 10 times, 15 times already. still have a now may say understand, you know. So
Every
it's
time I do the
normal.
presentation, every time I do the presentation, Simon, I get more excited.
Thank you so much,
He's
Michael.
learning more.
Yep.
More to learn.
Okay, one more time.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
Good night.
Thank you.
Uh,
Take care.
bye.
Bye-bye.
See you again.